policy. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
Insert Democrat socialist here.
Runs the Democratic House floor for 30 plus years running. He's promising this and he's stealing that. Where can you get that kind of money? He's using your house like his own piggy bank. You ought to know by now. You can pay off your house here in Illinois, but you can never keep up with the taxes. Oh, how it's always been the plan to have a taxpayer pay, no doubt. Not a matter of if anymore, but when you're moving out. I said, when you're moving out.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. That theme music means it's time for our weekly confab with wirepoints.org, all things Illinois policy related. And we'll speak with Mark Glennon in just a moment. It turns out BLM Brandon and Ty Webb, that's the Chevy Chase character from Caddyshack, have a lot in common.
Oh, they do.
When Ty Webb was asked why he doesn't keep it, he was asked what he shot, and he said, I don't know. I don't keep score. And Judge Smales asked, well, then how do you measure yourself against other golfers? And Ty Webb said, by height. Well, that's the same approach that BLM Brandon takes when it comes to the quality of the schools over which he now lords. He was asked at an appearance at the Economic Club of Chicago. Oh, boy, a lot of deep thinkers. Must have been a robust conversation, I'm sure. He was asked the following question: as a former educator and longtime employee of the Chicago Teachers Union, what grade would you give the current system and why?
Oh, my gosh.
His answer: I personally don't give a lot of attention to grades. Yeah, it shows.
Well, yeah, he admitted that. Yeah.
My responsibility is not merely just to grade the system, but to fund the system. That's how I'm ultimately going to grade whether our public school system is working, based upon the investments we make to the people who rely on it. So much like judging somebody's golf game by their height, Brandon Johnson judges the quality of a school system by what you put into it, not what you get out of it. It's the same thing. Don't worry about the score. Worry about something unrelated to the score. Like the $30,000 a year that we put into it, that's characterized as underfunding. But that's where he's focused. For more on this, Mark Glennon, founder and executive editor of Wirepoints.org. Mark, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Dan.
Yeah. We have to establish a rubric. Oh, boy, big word. We have to establish a rubric that speaks to the needs as well as the unique dynamics that exist. Another sentence that means nothing, but it sounds like it means something. That's from BLM Brandon when he's talking about K through 12.
You know, actually, Dan, I just listened to another hour of it, too. Ben Jaretsky had him on his show, and I spent a full hour with him. You know, it's an hour of platitudes like that. He just does not get to anything concrete. And, yeah, he wants to measure schools by how much money we give them. And he says that to the Economic Club. He wasn't challenged on it.
Of course not. Why would all those business leaders challenge him? Isn't that how they judge their businesses? It's what we put into it, not what we get out of it, and the connection between the two. Isn't that how they run their businesses?
Yep, and on Jaretsky's show too, he was asked again about grading for students, how you grade students. Of course, he dismissed that and said that the standardized testing is a manifestation of eugenics. You know, that's something he said during the campaign. So,
yeah,
you know, we're trying to kill black people if we give tests or something. Is the idea. But boy, I just listened to your segment too on the Goshen. The Goshen incentives for that 8,600 employee plant we're given. It seems like we're trying to measure our economic progress there by how much we spend too. That's over $200,000 a job.
$500 million in tax incentives for this supposed $2 billion EV facility being stood up by a member of the Chinese Communist Party in Manteno. That's a lot to consume, that statement. Anyway.
Well, and you know what? That's just the start, because there are federal tax credits for those folks too under the federal so-called Inflation Reduction Act. trying to quantify that, but this is just nuts. For a Chinese company that has seen a lot of controversy in some other states, it's been accused of lying about the job creation and other things. What are we doing? It's like we look every day for ways to new ways to commit suicide nationally and in the state of Illinois.
Yeah, but Mark Glennon, is there anything that the residents of Illinois can do to stop it, or is it a done deal?
I think that's a done deal.
Well, more to the point, is there somebody trying to stop it? I haven't heard. Who's trying to stop it?
Yeah, that's the start, Dan. We got to have somebody that's going to stand up on this. I haven't heard of anybody yet. We just got the details on this. The legislature did give them this slush fund. About half of that package comes out of the closing fund, as they call it. They just gave them a blank check to dish out this kind of money on things that the governor's office chooses to subsidize. So hopefully we're going to hear more about it and find out if there is a way to challenge it.
Are we getting any closer to details about where Brandon Johnson, maybe you shared it with the Economic Club, where the 10 cities are going to be stood up? I know there's been a report about that white elephant at 115th and Halstead in West Roseland, but where else?
Not to my knowledge. The last I heard, he was talking about putting some of them in each ward.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Well, he wants each alderman
Equity.
to come. Well, no, he's asked every alderman to come up with a 2-acre plot in their ward and submit that to him within the next 2 weeks.
Right.
But there's some wards that they don't have any, like Alderman Hopkins, his ward. I mean, he's landlocked.
Well,
Right.
you'll have to raise 2 acres of businesses. Could just eminent domain them and get them out of the way to build a tent city. And do we know who's got the contract? Is Bill Daley going to be the running point on the contracting for those weatherized pods that they're going to set up in these refugee camps around town? Or what do we know about that? When does that RFP go out for that contract?
Boy, yeah. I mean, this is just a fiasco. That the phrase I used in the article I wrote about this is apocalypse now. It's true nationally. It's true in New York. At least they're speaking up about it in New York. The mayor there says, this will destroy the city. He was very clear, and that he doesn't see any solution to it. There's no end in sight. All this money and all these camps. That's just for the only what is it? I think the number that have come on buses from Texas. It's a small number,
Like 1,600 or something.
1,600. Yeah. Well, we got 5 or 7 million people coming in the last 22 months. So a couple 100,000 would be the Illinois' proportionate share eventually coming to the state. This is the tip of the iceberg that we're talking about, and the city is already spending $300 million. That's the last figure we got from Brandon for the coming year on just those bussed-in migrants.
Yeah,
but don't worry. I mean, Mark and Dan, I don't know if you heard, but Andre Vasquez, my really good friend, he is now he's got a new title, Immigration Refugee Rights Committee Chairman. He said that once the migrants leave, that we're going to use those spaces, those tents, for the homeless, or as he calls them, unhoused population. So that this isn't temporary. When they go up, then they're going to stay up.
Well, why would they leave? You mean when they get upgraded to better housing?
I guess so.
Why would they leave? We're a welcoming city.
We're paying for every meal. We're paying for the clothes on their back. We're paying for their bedding. We're paying for everything.
Well, that's what a welcoming city does. Also, this, Mark, I read this piece in Vox.com. That's a left-wing outlet. Why the school choice movement is finally scoring breakthrough wins in the Biden era. Iowa, Utah, Arkansas, Florida, Oklahoma, Ohio, Indiana. I did not see Illinois
Keep looking.
on the list. Any chance that the tax credit scholarship program gets revived in the veto session?
I haven't heard very good information on that. Speaker Welch, as you probably reported, has initially said he was not going to call the bill. The governor's office caved to the radical environmentalists on this, but I don't. Excuse me, the radical opponents to school choice on this.
Right.
But I haven't. I haven't heard what's next in Springfield.
I've got the best idea. Give one of those tax credit scholarships to Stacy Davis Gates' son, so she might
Maybe
appreciate
Jason.
the program more.
Oh, yeah.
She's making well for school choice, though, isn't she? She, that statement she issued outlined exactly why she sent her kids to a private school, and boy, it was like straight out of Wirepoints. Couldn't have written it better, I think.
Well, yeah, she likes the curriculum and extracurricular offerings at De La Salle better than her public school offerings. But I mean, the public school offerings are fine for everybody else. It's just not for her kid. No, we got it. Yeah, that's fine. Well, she's one of our betters.
Yeah,
No
but
problem.
then she's basically calling herself a racist and a fascist, because anybody who sent their kids to private school or religious school, that's what
It's
she
not
labeled them.
racist when she does it.
Oh,
It's racist when other
sure.
people do it. Mark
Yeah,
Glennon. Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
I was going to say on this one, there's a ray of hope because it does seem like she was widely criticized, even by much of the left on this. So hopefully something will come out of it. We'll see.
Hopefully
Yeah, that
it's a
requires
blessing in
that.
disguise.
It's like the is there any way to stop the Mantino plant and the tax incentives? Was somebody trying? I mean, so is somebody trying to do something in Chicago? Is somebody trying to stand up to the Chicago Teachers Union or the public sector unions at the state level? Is there an opposition party? So I mean, yes, she's being roundly criticized because leftists are covering their asses, which is what they do, just for public consumption. But then it just goes away, even with her idiotic statements. Because is somebody trying to do something? I mean, other than our show, your outlet. But I mean, in electoral politics, is anybody? That's where accountability really comes. Is anybody trying to do anything in electoral politics here?
Nope. Just take that, lay down and take it. I guess that's the standard reaction in Illinois.
Thank you, sir. May I have another? Mark Glennon, founder and executive editor of Wirepoints, wirepoints.org. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Amy, Dan.
Thank you, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, folks. Dennis Prager here. You've probably been hearing my colleagues and me talking about investing with Wirefi for a while now. You may have some questions, so let's review. It's true. You can earn up to a 10.25% fixed rate of return that is not correlated to the stock market or the Fed. You can turn your income on or off, compound it, whatever you choose. And